GDevLog number 4. Alright, let's get the cool stuff out of the way, like suppose the tip of the day. Let me just show you. So today we're going to talk about object tagging or enemy tagging to hit multiple enemies of the same kind. Right, without using trigger ones or any of those shenanigans that don't work properly. So, gonna press the button, gonna give myself some items, and it was a long day of doing performance, and then finally I made one more item. Not made, like remade, because I already had these. So, when I made this item, I had the idea, like, when I saw the shield, I was thinking, like, what do I do with this? Just a defensive shield? Like, that's boring. So then I thought, you know, oh, what if I make it so that when you dash, we do damage? And that was cool, right? I just applied the same thing I was doing for the other stuff I did with damage. And didn't work really well. It worked to a degree, like out dash, and if the enemies were far away from each other, like far enough away, it'd work, right? You'd hit the first, do damage, and hit the second, do damage. But if they were on top of each other, then you'd only hit one of them, right? Because either trigger one shenanigans with you're in collision with that specific enemy, even if you ignore collision or whatever, it's, I don't know, it doesn't work properly. Maybe there's a different way to go about it, but I couldn't figure it out. So the way I did figure it out was with object tagging. So, and with object tagging, it works perfectly. So we equip the shield, and now let's unequip, right? So right now, our dashes put us in danger. We dash, we don't take damage, right? Cool. Oh, they're chasing me. Now, if we equip this, we're actually going to do what the tooltip says. When dashing, we're going to do damage with the maximum roll of our damage. See? Look at that. And it doesn't matter if they're piled up. Let me pile them up. See? Every single one of them is taking damage. See? Piercing damage. How cool is that? I mean, this item is kind of broken, so I'm gonna need to balance it. My idea was, oh, it's balanced because it costs a lot of stamina, but I don't know, my stamina comes back really quick. So yeah, that's piercing damage. So how are we doing this?
Fire.
Come here. Right, so the way I started going about this, and with a lot of things. So this is like the beginnings, I suppose. This is the stuff that's going to give you a light bulb. Right? This isn't like, oh, we can only do it this way. No, no, no. I want to show you this so you can have like a light bulb moment and you can go, oh, I can do this kind of stuff. Oh, what else can I do with this? Right? So I started doing this for almost everything now. And it's to do with object variables. This is really easy to do. Like, again, I should have probably started with that. And I'll try not to make it complicated. I'll try not to go like, oh, this is really easy. And then spend like 20 minutes explaining it. Dash damage. Here we go. Right. Never mind the whole thing. Like, I can just show you. Because this is checking for crits. That's why the long text, you know, it could even be longer, right? I could open this up and it's like, oh my god. No. This is just, it's checking for crits. Like I have one, if you don't have any crit, one that you have crit, then checks for crit. And then each one of them is going to do the damage text thing. And I'm still trying to figure out where to put the repeat for enemies, because the repeat for each enemy needs to exist. If this doesn't exist, then the damage numbers only apply to one of them. So I still need to figure out where the best place to put that. Anyways, so how do you do the cool piercing damage? Very simple. You use object variables. You put all of your enemies into a group. You put all the enemies that you're using into a global group, stick them all in there, call it enemies, right? For simplicity's sake. And then, whenever you're doing something that needs this check, like you need to pierce it and you need to hit multiple enemies of the same kind uh, with the same bullet, sort of thing, you check if the variable, let's call it tag, right? Because we're tagging enemies. If the variable tag of enemies is 0, so it's going to check all the objects you put in here. And it's going to check, well, do you have this variable? Yes, no, what number is it, right? You don't need to go onto every single object and put a variable on it, call it tag. No, you don't need to do that with objects. You just do it here with the events and you'll create it for you, right? So then, right, we're checking for collision, right? So we're dashing, so we are the bullet. Marie's the bullet. So you check for collision with your bullet, and then you check if this variable is 0. And then the moment you collide, all you got to do is change that variable to 1. Right? So change the object variable tag of enemies set to 1. And there you go. You're done. So now, the only thing you need is a way to reset this. Because otherwise, you're going to hit the enemies with one bullet, right? And it's going to work. It's going to go through every single enemy. It's going to do damage. But then if you use the same bullet, right? If you use this same event, like bullet equals 0, right? Or this tag equals 0. Now the enemy is stuck at 1, right? So if you shoot again, it's going to do nothing because it's not 0, it's 1. So you need to find a way to reset this. And this is where you need to be creative. You can use variables that add up, all sorts of stuff, IDs, whatever it is you want to do. My simple way for this dash thing is just so that whenever I press the button, or is it dash? It's a lot of stuff for dash. Button B. It's gonna change. Y. I actually got this from a YouTube video. I forget who was it. Where is it? Change the variable player. Stamina. I know what I did, but I want to show it to you. I just don't know where I put it. Change the variable player. No, that's the stamina. Right? Maybe I'm not seeing it. Again, I'm blind. Right? So you got to discount me a little bit. I'm curious though. Where did I put it? I know exactly what it is I'm looking for. I just can't find it. Where the heck? Where the heck does this ever happen to you? You're like, I'm sure it was here. Like, so that's why I didn't prepare. Because, like, I'm 100% sure it's so easy to find. But it's not, apparently. So, what the heck? What did I do with it? Um. Where did I put it? Wait, everything's open, right? I don't have something closed and it's just like sneakily in a corner somewhere. Is it down here? No way. No, I was gonna say I didn't put it in the same one. Where's the reset? Did I put it here? No. Oh my god, where did I put the reset? Huh. Oh yeah, this is gonna be quick. I'm just gonna explain it in like 5 minutes. Oh, there we go. It was right at the end. And it's not happening the way I thought it was. Okay, I found it. No editing. I'm sorry. Right. So I was thinking of a different one because I'll show it afterwards. And that one I actually know where it is. So you need to find a way to reset the tag, right? The variable back to 0. And this is how you do it. So for at least for the dash, this is up for your imagination, right? In my case, is whenever the tween dash is over, has finished playing, right? Then it resets the thing to 0, and this works all the time. At least as far as I've managed to try it out, this always work. But you can put it like you can do it like I do with the slashing attack. Let me show you. So the slashing attack, I was using the whole trigger once, and then trigger once wasn't working. If you were attacking multiple enemies, right? Because trigger once, you know, if you were in collision with one, that was it. And then I MacGyvered my way out of it with oh god, I'm doing some experiments with timers. So like if the timer was under zero 0.2 seconds, then you wouldn't do damage again. So you'd only hit the enemy every 0.2 seconds or something. But then it was like, I don't know. I didn't like it, so I had to find a different way. And the different way was this. It was exactly the same thing, right? This time it checks for tag number 2 of enemies. If it equals 0 and they're in collision with the slashing attack, then you put the tag to 1. So now, how do you reset the tag? That's easy. This way, this time, the way I do it is here. Whenever I push the button, it resets the tag. Where is it? Yeah, there we go. Tag 2. And so because the slashing attack ends before you can push the button again, because you need to wait. There's a 0.2 second delay, right? I put a delay on it. This one. No, this is so it wouldn't repeat. This is it. Variable attacking of Marie. See, object variables are so good, right? So again, this is sort of like the tagging thing. So if the object variable of my character equals 0, then I'm allowed to attack. And the moment I attack, it changes the variable to 1. Oh, there. Sorry, I was brain farting. It's like, why is this here? So yeah, it changes the variable to 1. So now you can't attack again because the variable is 1, right? And it needs to be 0. So it does the whole thing, does the animation, and then at the end of the animation, changes back to 0. So you're allowed to attack again, right? And during this delay, the enemies are being hit. They're being tagged as 1. And then every 0.2 seconds, you're able to reset the tag and hit them again, right? And this works. This is what's happening when I'm attacking stuff. But this tagging system is really cool. Like right at the start, I had no idea about this stuff with object variables. I was just like, it's a variable, you know? It's for keeping track of stuff, or I don't know. Like, see? Like, when he's in collision with the slash, he's taking damage, and he's like, okay, I'm number 1. And then I press it again, and he's like, he's 0, and then instantly tagged again for damage. And it's the same thing for the shield thing, right? There we go. Because the shield thing had to be this way, because otherwise it would not multi-hit. But now it does. You can pierce through them, every single one of them gets hit, and you can be really quick about it. Sorry. Trying to be fancy. It always hits. Because the moment the tween is over, that's it. You can hit them again. And you can't really... Well, I mean you can. I suppose you can. But I think restarting the tween restarts the tag anyway. I use this for plenty of stuff. So, you know, we're calling it tagging, like the object, because that's literally what you're doing. But I use this stuff for everything. Like, I did it with the inventories. Like, the first inventory that I did, I didn't show it to you. But I did mention it. Where I just copy-pasted a single slot. I actually used object tagging to place my items. So, like, I'll place an item, and if the item, the group item, was in collision with the slot, then you would change the variable of the slot to occupied, or like slot 1 something. No, it's just slot occupied. That's all you have to do, right? Because the copies, because this doesn't change every item of the same name, doesn't change the variable to that. It's only the copies who meet the conditions. Probably should have started with that as well. That's why this is so good, because only the stuff that meets the conditions gets tagged. That's the cool thing about it, right? Because if you do it without the tagging thing, like all the items of the same kind get tagged. But if you do it with, if you put it in the right way, like if it's in collision, then only that item gets tagged. So that's how I was doing the first inventory. Like the really lazy way. I just copy pasted a bunch of stuff. And then I was like, I can just tag them. And it worked. It actually worked. Like you created the item on top of the thing, on top of the slot, and you tag the slot as occupied. And then the next item being created would check if the slot was occupied. And if it wasn't, you'd move to a slot that wasn't occupied. It would create on top of it, and then it was in collision, and it would make that slot occupied. And it's silly because I don't like this system. I want to make a more fancy one, and then I made the fancy one, and then I was like, actually, I like the more simple stuff. So I went back to the simple stuff. Anyways, we're done. That's all about object tagging that you need to know. If you want an update on the inventories, right? Where is it? We don't need character anymore. Enemies. I mean, I even use it for enemies, right? I use it for the sounds. We're technically tagging ourselves with the sounds. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, it's this one. If it's on screen. I've been putting a bunch of stuff like, oh, if it's on screen, then do stuff. If it's not on screen, don't do stuff, because performance. Because apparently GDevelop can't handle too much. But yeah, this is basically self-tagging. And sorry about the bike, right? Because it's like it's checking like, is do we have this variable? Do we our own variable equals 0? Then no. Then you change our variable to 1, and then you wait a little bit, right? And you put it back to 0 so you can do it again. Huh? Is that what's happening in the other? Sorry, I'm still in like trying to debug mode. But yeah, I use it for everything. It's really cool. Like the moment I learned how to do this stuff, I was like, object variables are the best thing ever. I'm gonna use it for everything. And it's so it actually works. It works so much better than things like trigger once. Like trigger once, when I started doing GDevelop, I put trigger once all over the place because it was the only condition I knew. Right? It's like I only want this to happen once. What do I use? Trigger once, because it's literally its name. But then I was like, okay, this is leading a bunch of into a lot of trouble because it's so literal. It's like it literally just does it the once. If skeletons are in collision with sword, right? Or if skeleton 1, and then there's like 3 in collision at the same time, it's like, oh, we already have 1. Can't do anything more. Oh, I use it for. Let me see if I can show you as well. Like this is a cool application of it. In collision effects. This is how I work stuff. Like I make little things, like little blocks like this. I just go like, oh, I want to do like when it's colliding, do this line thing, and then I make a little block and I work it out, and then I'll put it back to where it's supposed to. Treasure chests. Let's turn this on. What's this called? Oh, it's R2. Okay. Let's go to a more empty one. Oh, man, I've done nothing today. It's just been like trying to work out performance. And it's back to being potato performance. Why? Don't know. It was fine earlier. I even made a bug report where I was showing it where my performance was really bad. And then it got better. I just reset the GDevelop and it magically got better. And then it was all day. It was stellar performance. And now it's just back to being a potato. I don't get it.
Fire.
Yeah, it's being a potato still. I really don't know. I don't know what's up with GDevelop. What the heck's going on in the background? Anyways. And it's not because I'm recording. Because I was recording earlier when I was doing the bug report. Right? So we have a bunch of chests. There we go. Chests. I know words. So we're doing the exact same thing. We're tagging them as we're colliding with them. So it's like if we're in collision, then add 1 to the variable. If we're not in collision, then take it away. Right? And this can happen. Right? It only shows the ones that you're literally colliding with and you're able to open. So like right now only 1 is being selected, right? Because I'm on the edge. I can open it. These 2 are selected at the same time. They're going to open at the same time. See? And just the 1 and then the 2. Before I was like, oh, object variables. You could use like, oh, if you're in collision just that one time, and then you put like trigger ones or whatever. Every other way I tried doing that, it would like, let me put like 4, right? So what would happen would be this: you'd come in collision, right? So now it's like, if Marie is in collision with treasure chest, do this. It'd be okay. You touched one, so you put the thing, right? And you touch the second one, and you'd be like, okay, I'm still in collision with the two of them. And then you move on to the third one, and the first one would not be in collision with you. But since we're still technically in collision with the treasure chest, then the first one would never lose the outline, right? Because the condition is, if you're in collision with the treasure chest, then set the outline to 3 or 2. If you're not in collision, set it to 0. That's all it is. But if you use like, if you don't put anything else on it, then it's all we're always in collision with the treasure chest. What am I trying to say? I'm saying that GDevelop has a hard time distinguishing objects unless you tell him to, right? So in this case, we're distinguishing it by giving the ones we're right, like literally colliding with, we're changing the variable, and then if we're not colliding, we take the variable away. I think that's what's happening. Anyway, I don't know. I was explaining that very badly. If you had this problem before, you'll get it. Basically, once you're in collision with a certain object, GDevelop will not distinguish the copies. It will not say like, oh, that's a second copy. You're not in collision with the first one. No, it will just say you're still in collision with that object, even though you're not in collision with the first one you entered in collision with. Yeah, hopefully that made sense. Anyways, how do we do this? Sorry, I need to read this. I made it and I forgot. Right, so if Marie's in collision with treasure chest, basic, and the animation isn't open, so that when it's open, the outline goes away. And the global variable, pause and right, interacting. That's what I called it. If the variable interacting of treasure chest equals 0, then we enter in collision with it and we put it to 1. Just that simple. And then if we're not in collision, we put it to 0. And it's so simple. Like, once you start doing this, and it has to be objects, right? You just gotta remember, like, it has to be the object variable, because the object variable is what singles out the copies, right? Because only the ones that have literally met the conditions, you're touching it, and it's 0, put it to 1. If you're literally not, if you're not touching it, even though if you're not touching it, didn't it need to be something else? Oh, there we go. Sorry, this is how you make the distinguish. How do you distinguish the objects? Right, if you're in collision, it's 0, you put it to 1. If you're not in collision and it's 1, put it to 0. Right, it's one of those. It's like a catch-22. Like, it's one of those. It's a light version of the pasture with the wolf and the sheep and the lettuce thing, and you need to cross the river, right? It's like how you do it. Like, you need to do this one, and then you go back and do the other one, and then so on. So you got to distinguish yourself. If I remove these, I can just do it actually to show you. For the sake of science, I just copy. Let's disable this one. And let's take these away, right? Okay. Take that away. Take that away. Oh, the pause thing is fine. What else do we need? Okay, we don't need anything else. We can do, oh, right, we can do trigger once, right? So I keep complaining about it. Let's just do this so that it doesn't like ring nonstop. Copy paste. And then we'll put it there. Right. So what's gonna happen now? It's only gonna outline one of the chests because it's only gonna trigger once. It sounds like I'm bad mouthing or like complaining about the condition when it's not the condition's fault. The condition is working just fine. I'm sorry. I'm just a bit salty because I had to redo a lot of work. Right. So see what happens? So it's doing the sound when we're not in collision. So if we're in collision with the object, then it does the thing. Okay. Now we're not in collision with that one, but we're technically still in collision with a chest, right? And it's the same name, it's the same thing. Like GDevelop cannot distinguish between the two of them. If we do some malarkey like let's jump, and that was the first one. Now they're all tagged individually, right? But it's only playing when we're literally not in collision with any of them. Then it's resetting, and then we're in collision, he plays the sound. But now we're always in collision. So why not just remove trigger once? Also, why was it not setting to 0? If Marie is not in collision, or if the animation is open. We weren't in collision at one point, right? So why didn't it? Whatever. So let's remove that. Let's remove the sound, because my ears and yours. I'm sorry if this is like, if you're watching this for whatever morbid reason and you're like, this is so basic, what are you on about? It's like, for me, this wasn't basic. Right? I didn't go to GDevelop school. I didn't go to like whatever, you know? I just started playing with this. Okay, so now it actually works properly. But we can't have the sound, because otherwise you'd be like... you just make the sound non-stop. Right. So this actually works. But this has the caveat that it's always running, right? It's always checking the condition non-stop, and we can't put a sound on it, because otherwise you'd be like, you know, just repeating the sound non-stop. So again, that's another failure, because we want to have sounds, right? What was the other way? There was one more way. Where it just tagged every single one and it never tagged out? I think it was just with trigger ones. I don't know, whatever it was. So yeah, a lot of stuff can go wrong. Uh, but stuff gets so much easier when you just tag objects with variables. Like variables are like so good. Like object variables are so good to work with things like this. Like if you want to trigger something just that one specific time of that one specific object, object variables, man. Uh, what else can I show you? I mean, we're done. Like we stopped like half an hour ago. Uh, I was just, I don't know. I'm excited. I get excited about geeky stuff like this. It's like when I figure out cool stuff like this, I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. I didn't know you could do this. Let me think of like, do I have something else? I'll just save it for another time. Anyways, today's work has been again just spinning my freaking wheels for nothing. For literally nothing. It's so frustrating. It's really so frustrating sometimes. I think I'm just gonna have to ignore that the FPS counter exists. Because yesterday, like the FPS was so good. And then this morning, it was complete crap. And then I made a video about it. And it's like, see, I'm not crazy. The FPS gets bad out of nowhere. And then it got better, and I caught it on video. And now it's back to being potato. Like it was good all day. It was like solid 60s all day.
Fire.
And now it's just back to being a freaking potato. Also, let me show you something cool. Like, hopefully you're still watching. Also, if you're still watching this, leave a comment on YouTube or something and just say hi. Just so I know that I'm not just like rambling to myself. Right, so I had crits on this game already. Like before the whole see, some crit effects. I keep calling it the flex box, but it was a flex container. That's what it was. Flex container. Come here. See? That's so cool. That was like one of the first things I tried doing. Is like, oh dude, how do I do crits?
Fire.
I need to give myself more crits. But like crit chances, or just chances in general, are so weird in GDevelop. I was like, I would love to know what exactly the chance of stuff is. Like if you use random in range. Because right now it's 15%. And I've done the math. I've tried seeing like how many hits are crits and how many are not. And it does check out. Right? But sometimes it feels like you're critting a whole bunch. Like that time we only got one crit, so it checked out. We don't need this. But we're gonna get it anyways. Yeah.
Fire.
Freaking potato FPS. Let's see if a different scene. I mean, I can't record all day and then just make a compilation of, see, FPS is good. See, FPS is potato. See, FPS is good again. What did I do? Nothing. What did I change? Nothing. Is your computer overheating? No. Well, thank you for calling technical support. We tried to help you. We couldn't. Bye-bye. Oh, God. I'm not being a dick. Shut up. Yeah. Look at that. 50s, 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 50s. What is the difference? I mean, I got Google up, Chrome up, but I've had Chrome open all day playing music. And it's been fine. And it's like it's solid, right? It's just not 60, but it's still solid in its own way. Oh my god, where am I shooting? Alright, maybe I should give myself some more crit. Yeah, look at that. It's so cool. Like, I love the crit animation. Alright, do just one. Come on. Just one. Oh my god. Also, I love the explosion animation. Dude, can I get one crit for like... See? That looked so cool. Come on. Come on. Oh god. He was like, oh, you complaining that 15% is too much? It happens too often? Well, we're listening. We'll fix it right away. It was hot fixed as I was talking. It was brought to 0. There we go. For a moment, I was actually gonna check if it was 0, but no, it's 15%. Because I made it 15 because when it's 20, it crits all the time. Like, it feels like you're constantly critting. Okay. I know. And now it's like... You know what it is, right? I'm recording. So it's like, oh, you're recording. Oh, you can get evidence? Like, video evidence? That's some... No. Just no. It's not gonna happen. Oh god, not paying attention.
Fire.
But yeah, I know a lot of people like this kind of stuff, so I'll probably make like a video talking about how to do crits, or I'll explain how to do crits next time. The sound is so satisfying. I love it. Like that ching sound. I actually have it, I think, still on 6. Oh no, that's just the particle effects of the crit. That's what the particle looks like. I think it looks a bit too much like blood, so I need to change it. Because, I don't know, I went for red, because red was like heavy, right? It's like a heavy hit. I wasn't really thinking about blood. Because I want this to be like a soft-hearted thing. Oh. Also, it changed a little bit of the puff of smoke. Like if you're falling for too long. Like if you're just jumping, it doesn't do a thing when you land. Like you need to be falling for a bit more. Like, there you go. And then it does the tuck. Yeah, that. Also need to change the chests. They're dropping too often. Man, I really wish I could just fix the FPS, man. It's been so good all day that I was like, maybe it's just at the beginning. You know, maybe it's just a booting thing. And then you'll be fine. But it's not. I mean, it's consistent.
Fire.
Right? And it's been consistently crap all day. I mean, all video. It's been consistently good all day. And now it's like, oh, you complain? I'll improve. And there's something wrong with those enemies. Like, those enemies tank the FPS even more. And this one. Like, I'm going crazy with this thing. Like, the particle effects on the feet, they're the same as the other ones. But this one looks like it's doing double. Like, it's bigger than the other ones. I don't know why. I didn't make it that way. there's nothing. There's literally nothing. That's what I was doing before I started recording this. Is I was trying to work out what the heck that was. Like, what was happening there? But it's one of those things. I'm not at first I was like, maybe I'm duplicating the event somewhere, but I'm not, because I not deleted, like disabled the event, and it stopped doing that. It stopped doing the thing, right? Where is it? It's the Minotaur. As a skeleton. What are you doing? The Minotaur. And so it has to do. It's just a normal event. But why does it do it so big? Like, why is the puff of smoke so big when it's literally? I copy pasted this. I literally copy pasted this. This is the only place where it's telling it to do it. This is the water, right? Collision with water tiles. Oh, it's not in collision with water tiles. Never mind. Wait, not in collision. Wait. Am I going insane? No, that's two. This is two, right? 0 and 2, 0 and 6, water tiles. And this is not in collision, and not in collision with water tiles. Okay. I was like, am I seeing double, or is it double and I'm not seeing double? And these are different, right? Walking 2, walking 1. It is. There's no. Right, walking 2 is 0. Walking 2 is 1. It doesn't matter. What am I talking about? This doesn't matter. Because this is literally, I literally copy pasted this onto the other Minotaurs. And the other Minotaurs are doing the little smokes, the normal smokes. This one is like big puffs of smoke. For whatever reason. And it's like there's two of them on top of each other. I don't know, it's weird. Like, I need to figure it out tomorrow. Tomorrow me can handle it. What time is it? Yeah, I still need to upload this. But yeah, not a whole lot to talk about. I've just been spinning my wheels, and it's been frustrating as hell. Because I've been working so hard to make improvements to the performance, and I think in some degree it is helping. I hope. But then it's like you get to this point, right? It's been good all day. And then suddenly it's like, no. It's just no. It's like, why? Just because I said no. But why are you bad? Because I said it. And it's frustrating. And it's like, is it my computer? So, I mean, really? Like, do I need a top-end computer to run GDevelop? Or a GDevelop game? I'm not knocking GDevelop, by the way. But it is a little, like, when people are like, oh, if you change this tiny little thing, it will help. It's like, really? Because there's barely anything on the screen as it is. And that's beside the point. That's the thing that upsets me the most. It's that it's completely beside the point. Because if most of the day we get 60 FPS, and then at random times the FPS drops, and then you restart GDevelop, and suddenly you have, look at that, it went down to 49. Right, earlier I was fighting that one and was solid 61. When I did the bug report thing, it was solid 61. And it's just like, no. It just goes like, oh no, I'm just gonna crap out. Why? Because I felt like it. It's like, because I said so. And that's the frustrating part. It's just like, so is the work that I've been doing
Fire.
actually done something? Or has it not done anything? What gives? Right? And I hate that. I hate not being rewarded. Right? Like, look at that. 15 MS. Why? Like, earlier, I did the profiler, and it was 10 MS. It was a whole 6 MS lower. Right? Because this is like 5.5. Where is it coming from? 4. That's just from objects and pre-events. Can we spot it? Like, health is fine. I can't do anything about the health thing. It makes sense, right? We're attacking stuff. Tween. See, the tween, I don't know why it's 60 now. This is one of those mystery things. Because every time you knock back an enemy, it is a tween. And every time you dash, it is a tween. But the thing is, I've done more testing. And with a bunch of enemies, hitting a bunch of enemies, you know, that room with a bunch of skeletons, hitting them all, making them jump and getting knocked back and all that stuff. And it's like 0.1, 0.2 at most. But now it's like 0.60. We killed like 4 enemies and it's 0.60. Why? This is what I don't get. This is a performance thing on GDevelop. Resource bar, we can't do anything about that. This is also a resource bar, which we use a lot. But we're not actually seeing... no, callbacks are 0. The events, like earlier the events were around 3. And I changed nothing. I literally changed nothing. And now it's 5. And is this objects and pre-events? No. So there's something here that we can't see. Why? Objects pre-events. Is there a way to see this better? No. Is there anything that would, like, clarify this? No. Because objects pre-event, whatever, right? 4.13. It's never this high. And then you just get this information. And there's not 4 points of MS here. So, don't know. And then you have the events, 5. Which again, there's not 5 here. So I don't know where the rest is. It's all in groups. It's literally all under one group. So like... right? So people are like, oh, just put stuff in groups so you know exactly where it's coming from. Yeah, you're full of it. Because this is literally a group. All of the events... Look at that. Literally all of the events are under this group. And it's like events 5.11 MS. The ones under the group 3.88. Where's the rest coming from? Right? Am I crazy? There's nothing else. There's no event groups anywhere else. So where's this coming from? The rest. Uh, Objects post event. It's a bit high, but whatever. And then the rendering. Like the rendering, this is a bit higher than it usually is for some reason. Yeah. I don't know what to make of this. I literally don't know. It's like this afternoon, this was 10, 9, 10. Now out of nowhere, it's like, 16. It just goes, yeah, whatever. If it was a performance thing, I wish it was like a computer thing, but this has nothing to do with computer. Maybe a processing thing, but I don't know. My processor is good. I really don't know where the performance bottleneck is, but my computer isn't that bad, and GDevelop isn't that heavy. What gives, right? Whatever. So, anyways, that was devlog number 4. I doubt anyone's listening to these things until the end. But yeah, I've done a lot of work today that did not pay off. I feel robbed, right? I know it paid off. Like, I'm being silly. I know it paid off. I know that in some way it's helping, but it's not, right? But it's like I'm on a desktop and it's doing this, and it does this on the compiled version as well. I'm on a desktop and it's doing this. So I can only imagine that it's going to do exactly the same thing on the on if I put this on like mobile or something, then oh my god, it'll be horrible. Also, I just realized I've been talking all this time with my speakers on, so my neighbors are gonna fucking love me. Oh, whatever. Uh, yeah. So that was today. Like tomorrow, I need to go back to the fun stuff because this stuff is like killing me. It's killing me softly. It's like this is the second day where I've been doing performance, and the performance is literally the same. It's like either perfect or broken, and then perfect, and then broken, and then perfect, and then broken. And it's like, why? I don't know. It just felt it. It just felt like being that way. Anyways, I'll catch you guys next time. Hopefully, with something a bit cooler. Right. Peace out.